So today there was another Packers OTA practice open to the media, so we have some different things to go over. And I want to start off with the biggest takeaway I had today, just looking at all these reporters and what they were saying. The most interesting thing to me, and that's Matthew Golden, Packers first rounder, and what some of these reporters shared here. First off, from Andy Herman on Twitter, says everything Matthew Golden does just looks natural. Routes, catching, returning, just born to do it. And then Ryan Wood, also on Twitter, shares this. Matthew Golden already making an impression, caught an 11-yard out from Malik Willis on second-team offense during 2-minute drill, bumped up to starters on next 2-minute series, and caught 9-yard out from Jordan Love one play before touchdown to Jaden Reed. What really stands out early is same thing everyone who's ever coached Golden has said, tremendous hands. Looks like a natural receiving the football. So there we have two different Packers reporters noting just how natural Matthew Golden looks, discussing as well his natural hands. And that's one thing that last season, as Packers fans, we got used to a lot of issues with drops last season. One of the worst teams when it came to drops in the entire NFL. And hopefully the guys who struggled last year, mostly Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, hopefully they can have a much better year. But to bring in a guy like Matthew Golden, who seems to be showing signs of, having that natural ability to catch the ball, that's something that I assume Jordan Love is going to be, pretty excited about. And then one other comment here on Matthew Golden from Romeo Doubs after practice was posted by Ryan Wood. He posted a short clip. But Romeo Doubs said, "Oh man, kid's a stud, man. He doesn't say much. He just comes in and work." And he also said, "Kid's playing fast right now." And he also added that he's really consistent. And so to hear Romeo Doubs already, giving Matthew Golden some credit and talking about the kind of guy he is, the kind of worker he is there, that's something you like to see just from, a guy who's a little bit older, no longer, young rookie type player, seeing these different kinds of things in Matthew Golden. And for this Packers offense, they were really good last year, but with Christian Watson down, the Packers just need a little bit more speed out there on offense, and Matthew Golden with his 4.29 40 should be able to add a lot. So it's just good to see him already out there at OTAs, catching people's attention. And then I want to go over a few different other updates from today's Packers practice. We have here from Ryan Wood, who says Packers coach Matt LaFleur says there's a lot of thought about Lucas Van Ness taking some snaps inside at DT rather than exclusively on edge. Van Ness dipped inside during second team 2-minute drill today, lined up on edge with starters. He has the size for that versatility. Lucas Van Ness in the first couple seasons, he hasn't quite lived up to his first round draft status, and maybe he makes a big jump going into his third season. He's still a pretty young player overall, but if things haven't gone great outside, why not try him out inside a little bit, see what you can, if you can get anything out of him there. I feel like, no reason not to try that. Then hear from Rob Domofsky, who says Marshawn Lloyd is back on the practice field for OTAs. Awesome. Cornerback Nate Hobbs is out today due to a personal matter. Also don't see Quay Walker, Jair Alexander, Trey Hill, John Williams, Elton Jenkins. Packers rehab group includes Christian Watson, Colin Oliver, Nesta Jade, Silvera, John Fitzpatrick, Warren Brinson. And he says actually it appears Fitzpatrick will practice. So we are yet to get to mandatory minicamp, so the players don't necessarily have to be here. And we heard from Matt Schneidman that Jair plans to attend the mandatory minicamp even if they haven't figured things out with his contract situation. And so the same with these other guys. I don't think it's, a big deal really. And we still have to wait and see what's going to happen with the Elton Jenkins contract situation. If things will shift there, we'll just keep an eye on that. And then here from Andy Herman, he notes the starters on offense and defense. Offensively, on the offensive line, Rasheed Walker left tackle, Banks left guard, Monk center, Ryan right guard, and then Tom at right tackle. So just interesting to note, once again, of course, Elton Jenkins is absent today, or was absent. But Jordan Morgan not getting the start there on the offensive line at right guard, or left tackle. It's Walker at left tackle, Ryan at right guard, Monk at center. So just interesting to note there, but pretty quickly he did come in. Rob Domofsky shared Jordan Morgan quickly rotated in at left tackle, and Andy Herman added Morgan now getting reps with the ones at right guard. So that's where we're still going to see a competition. Jordan Morgan competing at left tackle, competing at right guard. Same with Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Sean Ryan at right guard. And so we'll keep an eye on that battle. But interesting that Jordan Morgan is not started out there. Is it a big deal? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Then Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Golden, and Romeo Doubs at receiver, Musgrave and Kraft at tight end. Then defensive line, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, Wooden, and Gary. Kenny Clark wasn't doing team drills. And then Cooper, McDuffie, Simmons at linebacker. Isaiah Simmons out there with the ones with Quay Walker not practicing. And, I mean, he's someone that has a lot of talent. So we'll see what can happen there. The Nixon and Valentine at corner, Williams and McKinney at safety. And then Bullard came in the slot with Simmons going out. Then from Andy Herman, he says Wicks has one go right through his hands and Haddon picks it off. Nowhere near full speed. Wicks still should have caught it. So, I feel like, with one drop's not a big deal, but clearly with, Wicks and Jaden Reed dealing with a lot of drops last year, hopefully that's something that doesn't continue and isn't something that consistently happens. Then from Andy Herman, 7-on-7s, Kalen King with very tight coverage on Jaden Reed on a slant, but Love fits it in and Reed somehow hung on. Love to Musgrave outside, but didn't see Cooper in the flat, and Cooper skied to knock it away. Jaden Reed slips out of his break, but recovers in time for the catch. And that's one guy, Kalen King. Came in last year, didn't really do too much, but maybe he'll have some opportunities there to add some depth at corner. Then from Andy Herman, Tyrone Hopper now getting reps with the ones at linebacker instead of Simmons in team. And then Andy Herman, Love with a pretty shot in the turkey hole to Doubs, just clearing the outstretched arm of Kalen King. Pretty pass. And then adds Love with a gorgeous ball to Musgrave up the seam on 7-on-7s. That's the play the Packers would love to see a lot more of from ADA. Yeah, I would love to see Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. If they can both stay healthy all season long, I do think they have different skill sets, different things they can do, and they could have some nice pairings out there together. Then from Wes Hodquist, nice throw from Malik Willis in 2 minutes. Willis in the 2 minute across the middle, but newly added wide receiver Sam Brown can't bring it in. Choose end with Colby Wooden, pass deflection at line of scrimmage. And then a couple more here to finish it off. Ryan Wood, Jordan Love drops a dime to Jaden Reed on 2nd and 1 from 30. Capping 2-minute drill with touchdown pass. Reed beat Packers cornerback Kalen King on corner route. On drive, Love completed 6 of 7 passes for 75 yards and the touchdown. So I feel like, nowadays it's different than the past couple of years. Because, the first year when Jordan Love was taken over as starter, every single, practice and OTAs, it's like, how good is Jordan Love? Is he going to be the caliber that the Packers have been used to with Brett Favre, with Aaron Rodgers? And now, of course, we've sort of seen what Jordan Love can be and the potential. So I feel like there's less of a focus on, trying to figure out what Love has to offer because we've seen it for 2 years now. But good to see him, playing good football in OTAs. And I feel like, OTAs, sure, you can learn some things, but they're not in full pads. And I don't want to read, too much into everything, but you can, learn a few things here or there. Then Ryan Wood says Malik Willis was cooking in 2-minute drill. Then wide receiver Sam Brown dropped a slant for about 20 yards on 3rd and 5, as I read earlier. And Colby Wooden batted his 4th down pass at line of scrimmage. Still a solid drive for QB2, who was 5 for 8 for 40 yards. And then finally here, we have a couple quotes from Matt LaFleur after practice from Wes Hodquist. LaFleur on Romeo Doubs. He looks great out there. He's come in and he's just worked. Obviously, he's played a lot of snaps for us and had a lot of production. And then LaFleur on Zach Tom staying at right tackle. I think that's the plan, absolutely. That's where he's found his home. But what's great about him is you do have something, if you do have something that happens, he gives you flexibility up front. So I would expect to see in the next year or so, Zach Tom getting some kind of deal, and it sounds like the plan is to keep him at right tackle, which makes lots of sense. But that's pretty much all the updates from today. If you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.